we're sort of mission agnostic in a way, if you will, right? We support the work of many, many of our clients. And it doesn't really matter what they're trying to achieve. If it's something that's to make this country and this planet a better place to live, and if we can help take that friction out of the service and make them do it just a little bit better, then we think we're not just accomplishing our mission, but we're helping them achieve theirs.
Without further ado, I'm going to get to my very special guest this evening, Keith Mestrich. Keith is the president and CEO of Amalgamated Bank, the world's largest B Corp certified bank. Amalgamated Bank was founded 94 years ago, big celebration coming up in a couple years, and today has 14 branches nationwide. Keith has 25 years experience with the labor movement, nonprofit advocacy groups, and political organizations. Keith has also extensive experience in the financial sector and served as CFO for Service Employees International Union, which of course is known as SEIU out there in the world. With that intro, we give a very warm welcome to Keith Mestrich. Keith, how are you?
I'm doing great, Yitzhak. It's nice to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me here. I just have to open up. Tell me about yourself. You're the president and CEO of Amalgamated Bank. This didn't happen overnight. What's your story?
Sure. So I grew up in a small town in South Dakota. My dad was a country doctor, was the only pediatrician for a 250-mile radius.
Wow.
But that's really where I got a good value set, because my dad was all about trying to think about how he could deliver on the mission of being a doctor and made sure that he could really live up to the oath that he took, which was to be able to do no harm and deliver care to
and people traveled for 4 or 5 hours
to come see the doctor, to go to the bank, to go to the store, see the dentist, meet with their banker.
I mean, in New York, it's hard to wrap my head around that concept. That's why I'm so fascinated.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow. So from South Dakota, I went to school in Michigan and moved to Washington, D.C., where I thought I wanted to go change the world a little bit. I ended up getting my first job as doing corporate research for the labor movement. I went to work for the AFL-CIO. Mm-hmm. And I had been a political science major in college. I'd never looked at financial statements at all. And all of a sudden, I was responsible for looking at the balance sheet and income statement of giant companies, small companies, public companies, private companies. And I really learned a lot. And I learned a lot about how finance is really a lot about what makes the world go around. And even if you wanted to really understand what made a company tick, it was the key financial statements that told you an awful lot about a company's strategy and a number of other things.
But it's fascinating. You went to college for political science.
Exactly.
And then you had a fascination and love for the numbers.
I really ended up getting to know the numbers. That then took me into a different realm in the labor movement. I spent a lot of time thinking about the finance and administrative side. And lots of our union clients and nonprofit clients, those are really undervalued skills, and got some real ability and facility with the numbers in the nonprofit sector. And then a few years ago was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to come work for the bank that really serves labor, politics, nonprofit community, and bring that skill set to the bank as we've tried to really become a financial ally and a financial partner to that community.
Now, as you just mentioned, you have a lot of experience in the financial sector and in philanthropy. How has your prior work helped you for your position now as the CEO and president of Amalgamated? So
Amalgamated is a bank that really serves a unique niche. We serve the thousands and thousands of labor unions across the country, the advocacy groups, the nonprofit organizations, philanthropies, social enterprises, a real specific niche that no other bank focuses and concentrates on. And while we have some specialized products and services that we offer to people that speak to that community, what we really have is we have bankers who've come out of that community that understand the unique financial needs that our customers face. The financial needs of a human needs delivery organization or a labor union or a political campaign are really quite different than a hospital or a small business or a convenience store or another financial corporation. It's a different mentality. It's a different bottom line, if you will. And our ability to have lived in that world and truly understand how the finances are constructed from the bottom up, I think gives us a real advantage over other banks.
It's so special when you meet a business that knows its clientele and kind of lives and breathes it, as opposed to just, okay, we'll take on anyone that knocks on our doors. Oh, I'm sure you're open for anyone that knocks on the door. I don't want to take take that away, but those that you service know that it's in your blood. It's your passion.
It's really true. A good example that we look to and try and model ourselves after a lot of times is the company USAA. A lot of people know that USAA is a bank and an insurance company that really focuses on former service members and their family. They understand the unique needs that clientele has. That's what we do with our clientele as well, and it really makes a difference, and it's good. It's a good business plan,
right.
And it means that we have a real future.
Right. Now, Amalgamated has an extremely unique banking model. Perhaps you can explain it for our audience.
Sure. So we came out of the labor movement. We were started in the 1920s to really meet some of the unique financial needs that working people had at that time, which was banking was largely the purview of the rich. So we were a place where they could actually have a savings account and be able to earn some interest and keep their money in a safe place. And the single greatest challenge that working people had in the 1920s was how did they send money back home to their families in sort of war-ravaged Europe, either to support their families or actually help bring them to America as well. Right. And our bank, along with some other financial institutions, invented what ultimately became the foreign remittance system. And it was just focusing on the unique needs that people had at that time. We do the same today, and we try and focus very much on the unique needs of our clientele. Story I like to tell is we have political clients. Political clients have a real unique need to be able to wire money much later in the day than other organizations can, because if you're going to buy a television ad, you have to pay for it on the front end, because once it's run, there's no getting it back. So for our political clients, we have a real concierge banking kind of service that says we understand that you have that real need, and we'll make ourselves available for as long as the Fed's wire window is open so that we can provide that service. Unions is another good example. The financial model that unions face today is really under attack by the Trump administration and Republican governors around the country. And we've developed ways to take the best organizing technology, marry it with the best payments processing technology, and provide the labor movement with a product that really meets the needs to address the financial challenges that they're doing. It's that kind of understanding of our clientele that allows us to develop the kinds of things that no other bank would do for them.
My guest this evening is none other than Keith Mestrich. He is the president and CEO of Amalgamated Bank, the world's largest B Corp certified bank. What is a B Corp certified bank?
Sure. B Corp is a benefit corporation, and B corporations are a community around the country of businesses from all different walks of life, if you will, all different kinds of industries that run their affairs in a particular way, making sure that they treat their employees with the utmost regard, that they care about the environment, and they take steps to make sure that there's good recycling practices, carbon use practices, other things. A real commitment to making sure that women and people of color have opportunities for advancement in the company, and that governance of the company is transparent and respondent not just to pursuing the bottom line, but making sure that the planet we live on is a better place to live. So there's a couple of thousand B Corps around the country. We are thrilled to be one. We're not the only bank. There's other banks. There's other great banks, but we're the largest financial institution to carry the B Corp moniker in this country.
Now, we know that banks in general are, we'll put it mildly, sometimes a bit difficult to navigate. Amalgamated Bank is seemingly an exception to that rule. Why is that? Did that happen even before you joined? Was that enacted once you joined?
Look, banking can be an absolutely arcane business, and it can be very difficult to understand. People have a pretty simple idea of what they want their finances to look like, and what kind of transactions they need to conduct with their bank. We need to make it easy for them. We're on that journey to make banking easier for people to understand. We're not all the way there yet. It's a constant source of improvement that we'll need to do. But we are working on making sure that our website is easier to navigate. I've talked several times about how important it is that our people are there as guides to help people get through the system. People just want their bank to work. That's right. The most important thing. Right. We need to make sure that it works, and that when it doesn't, we figure out how to fix it quickly in a transparent way so that people know that we're there to deal with their frustrations. Not everybody does what we do and deals with financial transactions on an everyday basis. People buy a house only once or
Right.
twice in their
Right.
entire lives. We need to make sure that that we help them through that process. We do it every day. They don't, and we have to remember that. And I think that's good guidance for the entire financial industry.
Now, you touched on this earlier. When preparing for the show, there was a line here that you know, not only are looking to help those who do good, but in fact, the way you say it, you say you help those who do good do better.
That's right.
How could you elaborate on that?
Sure. I think about our customers. Our customers might be people who are working to make sure that women's rights are protected in this country, or there might be organizations that are working to make sure that we have a clean environment, or they might be unions that are working to make sure that workers have good protections, safe workplaces, and adequate wages. Well, that's what they do. You know what they don't do? They don't think about how to do their bank transactions. They don't think about the intricacies of having a line of credit that does things. They don't think about making sure that they maximize their ability to do their financial transactions as effectively and efficiently as possible. That's what we do. That's our area of focus. If we can really focus on that and alleviate our customers from having to spend lots of times thinking about it themselves, then I think we help them perpetuate the mission that they're actually trying to achieve.
And it's so true, because in they're not professionals at that area. They're great at what they do, but they have to be able to turn to a financial institution that says, okay, watch my back, make sure that on the financial side I'm doing it right.
We're sort of mission agnostic in a way, if you will, right? We support the work of many, many of our clients, and it doesn't really matter what they're trying to achieve. If it's something that's to make this country and this planet a better place to live, and if we can help take that friction out of the service and make them do it just a little bit better, then we think we're not just accomplishing our mission, but we're helping them achieve theirs.
Now, you touched on this earlier, and it's really special. You embraced the $15 minimum wage, and you were an outspoken proponent for that. And you didn't just talk about it at the bank. No, any position from the, even ones that
interns all the way up.
Interns
make $15
$15 an hour.
Yep.
And wow.
Yep.
I mean,
and here's why.
Yeah.
Because there's a dirty little secret in the banking industry. And that's that the average wage for a bank teller in this country is a little more than $12 an hour. This in an industry where everybody thinks about the people at the top and how much money they make. And it's an incredibly successful industry that has rewarded tens of thousands of people in a very, very lucrative way. But the average bank teller makes $12. The average. That means there's a lot that are below making $12 an hour in a wildly successful industry. And it's food service workers, and it's janitors, and it's the people who process transactions in the back office for us. Well, we need to share some of that wealth. If the banking and financial services industry can't pay its people a living wage, then no industry really can. And we need to be, that's that leadership thing I was telling about. We need to be leaders and actually standing up and doing what's right. And that's what we do every day at the Amalgamated Bank.
Amalgamated is about to celebrate their 100th anniversary. How is it that a bank could stay true to its original core values over that length of time?
Because they matter, and it's not been hurt that we've had the same majority owner for our entire history. So our union was started by the Amalgamated Clothing Workers. That union's gone through mergers and changes as the industry that they represented workers in, which was the clothing industry, has changed dramatically in the last century. But they've been our owner for that entire time, and the union's mission is very much our mission. And so having that support from our ownership has been a key important piece of what's actually made us stay true to our roots.
I'm not going to ask offhand, but I'm sure you have some people that have been with the bank for decades.
I think we have one branch manager who just celebrated, I think, her 45th anniversary at the bank.
Wow. Keith, the time goes so fast here on radio. I can't thank you enough for joining me here on this edition of Mind Your Business. What final takeaways would you like to share with the audience of Mind Your Business?
It's really great to have been here and just tell some stories about the bank. And even over the last 45 minutes or so, as I've thought, I'm always just in awe of how much our bank does. And I hope people are motivated to maybe come visit our website or walk into one of our branches or come visit us, not just to do business with us, but to share ideas about how we can do what we do even better.
It's a treat to interview C-level executives every single week on Mind Your Business. and the CEO of Amalgamated Bank, was a fantastic guest. Thank you. I'd love to get your feedback. Post it in the comments below and subscribe, and never miss a great episode of Mind Your Business.